Hi everybody, it's Coach Aaron here. Today I'm going to be talking about a question that came up on a website called consciouslifting.com. Consciouslifting.com, just so you know, is a vegan website. It's a great little vegan website that deals with question and answers about vegan topics, vegan training, vegan diets, all that kind of stuff. I'm the resident coach for that website, and what I decided to do is answer some of the questions that come up here through these little video logs, as well as doing the written blogs and stuff that I write for the site. Check it out anyway if you're vegan or you're interested in vegan living. It's called consciouslifting.com. Okay, and the question that came up that I wanted to address today is the question of whether or not we should be taking recovery drinks. Recovery drinks are very, very popular now. Everyone takes them. It's rare to see a fella or a girl finish their workout and not reach for that shake. Quite often in the changing rooms before they even leave the building. So we've all been sold on the idea of these drinks, but first of all we have to ask ourselves, do we really need them? Okay. Now, my proposition for this particular video blog is to say, no, we don't need them. There's nothing wrong with them, but we don't need them. Okay, it's not essential that you take them. So very quickly, what is a recovery drink for anybody who isn't sure? It's normally a protein shake. Sometimes it has carbs in it as well. Sometimes it'll have some extra amino acids thrown in. Sometimes there'll be creatine in there as well. Occasionally you get a bit of fruit. Somebody might blend a banana in. So you're talking about a drink that you would drink right at the end of your training session. And the belief that this shake is going to in some way speed up your recovery, make you stronger, make you leaner, it's just not true. The general understanding behind taking these drinks is that your muscles need the protein and the amino acids, and you're trying to get them in there as fast as you can to stimulate protein synthesis, to develop the muscle or to heal the muscle, and that you need the carbs in there to stimulate growth through insulin, and also to fuel the muscle and to get that glycogen back in there to fuel you up for your next session the next day. Okay. Will recovery drinks get that stuff into the muscle? Yeah, they absolutely will. Within 20 minutes of your training session, if you whack down your protein shake with some carbs or whatever, it will get into that muscle fast, really fast. It'll stimulate some insulin, which may not be a good thing. I'll explain why in a second, particularly at that time straight after training. But it'll get that stuff into that muscle okay. The thing is, do you need it? That's the question. And the answer is no. And the reason you don't need it is that the body does not heal within 20 minutes of you finishing training. It doesn't start the healing process then. It starts much later in the day. Most healing is done overnight. Most muscle development is done overnight. And in fact, the effects of a particular training session take several days to fully develop. Right? So getting that shake in right at the start plays no part in that. Okay? If you have a meal 3 hours later, that meal, and you have some protein and carbs in that meal will do exactly the same as your shake. Okay? Not only do you not need the shake, and as I said already, there are situations where it doesn't necessarily hinder your muscle development, particularly if you're very insulin sensitive. Okay, it'll do quite well. There's also, of course, some people like to take the carbs right at the end of the meal like that, because they shuttle them into the muscle on the basis that they can avoid an insulin spike. Okay, when you're in the middle of training, if you take in carbs, sure, they'll get in there and they won't spike as much insulin. It's not that they won't spike insulin, but they won't spike as much, right? Because the cells will take them in. They'll bypass the whole insulin need. So if you're very insulin resistant, that can be a good time to get carbs in. However, if you're very insulin resistant, you should probably be staying off carbs anyway in the first place. But anyway, let's get back to one of the negative aspects that there are behind taking a carb and protein shake right at the end of your meal or right at the end of your training session. There are perhaps 3 times a day where growth hormone is optimal in your body. A couple of hours after you go to sleep, growth hormone is stimulated. When you first wake up in the morning, growth hormone tends to be high, and right at the end of your training session, growth hormone again is increased within the body. Growth hormone will make the muscle grow. It will help to stimulate it to heal. It'll do everything that your protein shake, that you're expecting the shake to do. Your growth hormone will do that. But here's the thing: when growth hormone is in the body and it's being pumped out, the very thing that will turn it off is any sort of insulin spike, whether it be from carbs or from a protein shake, right? Whey, pea, doesn't really matter. If you spike your insulin levels, the carbs will always spike it. Protein shakes will spike your insulin level as well. Most people don't think about protein in relation to insulin and how it spikes it. It does spike it. Protein from meat and from food and from nuts and stuff like that, that's not going to spike it as fast. But if you get a shot of it, in a drink, and let's face it, this stuff is fairly refined stuff. It's practically protein sugar. It's getting in there pretty quick. It's going to spike your insulin, okay? And the carbs will spike it too. The minute that insulin is spiked, your growth hormone sensors are shut down instantaneously, yeah? So it's this whole shifting between the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system, the healing as opposed to the fighting, right? So the gym, you're in your fighting mode. Once you get those carbs in or spike that insulin with fast proteins that are too fast, what happens is immediately we're into the parasympathetic, we're slowing down. We're slowing down the system. We've just stopped the growth hormone, right? Which is vitally important for muscle development and for healing, right? So I certainly don't bother with them anymore. I used to take shakes all the time. I don't touch them. I take a little bit of amino acids while I'm training, and that's it. Nothing else goes in there. I do eat I don't wait 2 or 3 hours after I finish training to eat. I normally eat a meal within about 30 to 40 minutes, whenever I can get from the gym back to either home or wherever I'm working, and I'll have my meal then, which will already be pre-prepared. And depending on whether I'm high carbing it or low carbing it, it'll have carbs, but it'll be a protein. It'll be a heavy protein meal, normally about 40 to 50 grams. It doesn't have to be that high, that's just my own preferred. It's a nice time for me to eat. There's an interesting point actually, while we're on the point of recovery. Your first meal, whether it's a protein shake or you wait a couple of hours and you eat a meal, either way, it should have protein in it. At least 20 grams. You don't really need any more than that. I tend to go to about 40. That's because that's just the way I divide up my meals. But at least 20 grams. And 20 grams is good to go, even for the girls. Yeah, make sure you get those 20 grams. There's only one type of person that I can think of that should always be taking a protein shake and a carb shake straight after training, and they would need both. And that is your professional athlete, or someone who's training more than once a day. The whole idea of recovery drinks came about from the world of athletics and sports and professional sports, or very high level amateur, where they're training more than once a day, maybe twice, maybe 3 times a day. For those people, and if you're one of them, then yeah, sure, you need that shake, and you need both the carbs and the protein, because the whole point of the recovery shake initially was to get the fuel into the muscle fast, not to heal the muscle, not to make you turn into Arnold Schwarzenegger. The whole point of getting it in there was so that there was fuel in that muscle so you could train again later that day. And because the muscle takes it in quick when you're in a heightened state after training, that's why it was given then. But what happened is the supplement companies got the hold of this, and they got the idea of recovery, and they just sold it, and they sold it big time. So remember, if you want your protein shake, most people take them out of habit as much as anything. Go for it, take them, but don't expect miracles. The real magic happens in the gym, and it happens when you're recovering over the next couple of nights, not from that protein shake. Okay, this is Aaron, Coach Aaron, signing off till next time. Take care.